Previously on Beyond the Ice Wall, we began questioning the official story of Antarctica. Is it truly a continent at the bottom of the globe, or could it be a giant ring of ice surrounding our world? I showed you images from different regions: Ross Ice Shelf, Barnes Glacier, and even the South African station, all hinting at a towering ice wall stretching for thousands of miles. Heights of the ice walls are reported from anything between 50 feet to 6,000 feet. They don't tell you this. You were shown how the public is misled into thinking they can just sail to Antarctica and start exploring inland. The reality is massive permissions, hidden checkpoints, and a tourist trail that never goes beyond the perimeter. You're not allowed near the interior, not by ship, plane, or sled. We also looked at the various restriction zones, ASBA, ASMA, and ARA, which make sure nobody goes poking around where they shouldn't. Even unclaimed land like Marie Byrd land is off limits. The official explanation of why it's unclaimed: it's difficult to access, as if the rest isn't. Some claim it's home to aliens, Nazis, or worse. Others say it's Lucifer's throne. And when governments lie, theories fill the void. We revisited Admiral Byrd's claims about land beyond the South Pole, larger than the United States, never explored. Funny how all that talk ended right after the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Ancient maps and writings, some of which I've shown you before, pointed to a different Earth, one with a ring of ice, mountain walls, and unexplored continents beyond. This wasn't just folklore, it was the accepted worldview just a few hundred years ago. And now here we are, with so-called satellites, science, and 7 decades of ice research that still won't let us take a commercial flight over the South Pole. Anyway, this is part 2 of the series. If you feel like you've missed anything, check out the previous video. The link is in the description. I recommend watching it to get the full picture. So, without further ado, fasten your pants and let's get started. Regardless of whether maps showing unknown land beyond the ice wall are true, they allow for thinking outside of the box, beyond the confines of our belief system. One of the problems with this research is that the models offered sometimes contradict each other. Have a look at this one. I took it from a video that can be found here. The video is titled, "What the Earth in Fact Looks Like as a Whole." If you're wondering what Iron Republic means, in the year 1902, an article was published about a place beyond the Antarctic, discovered by intrepid explorers, called Iron Republic. I don't go into detail with this story and others like it, because they are written without a trace of evidence. Compare this model to this one. There are other models. They can't all be true. It's a disservice to sincere researchers that the models are presented as real on social media, often with dumb captions, such as, "You are not ready for the truth." What's going on here? My guess is people are picking up on land beyond, intuitively. The maps are attempts to make sense of what they feel. I own 2 books about land beyond the ice wall. One is the 1959 book, World Beyond the Poles by Amedeo Giannini. The other is The Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Walls by Claudio Nosali. I couldn't get myself to read either, beyond a little browsing, because I'm bored by books that contain no specifics. If I had crossed the ice wall and discovered strange land, the very least I could do for my readers is to give them the coordinates. Yes, I could tell them where I crossed the wall and where I found the land. I ended up donating the books to a thrift store. Still, both books are hot sellers, precisely because people intuitively know there is something beyond our realm. More interesting than fictional books posing as real are old newspaper articles. They show us that we had a completely different understanding of Antarctica. This was published on April 4th, 1897, by Wheeling Sunday Register. It is stored at the Library of Congress website. The headline informs us that explorers in those days expect to find a warm, open, and blooming country. But why? According to official history, there had already been explorers to the Antarctic in the 1700s and 1800s. Word should have gotten around that it's a barren ice-covered emptiness. 50 years later, Admiral Byrd also claimed to have found a warm climate and fertile land beyond the pole. Quotes from the article. So marvelous have been the accounts concerning it, the South Pole, from those who have gotten nearest it. There is a wall of ice around the South Pole, of that they are certain. But whether they will find ice within the wall, or, as is generally supposed, open polar sea, is something they better tell you after they got back. Establish the South Pole as a winter resort, a rival to the beaches and coves of the North American coast. South Pole recalled the heat of the tropics. To the south of it rises a wall of ice. This wall is a stumbling block to all explorers. None have ever scaled it. Captain Ross in 1840 climbed the mast of his ship and discovered smoking volcanoes on the other side of this ice wall. He thought he could detect the sight of warm air rising, the difference in the atmosphere being visible. All Antarctic explorers say that there may be a warm polar circle within this wall of ice. A quiet, peaceful people dwell within this circle and enjoy a salubrious atmosphere hemmed in by the wall of ice. The supposition is no more crazy than the knowledge that we dwell comfortable here with a wall of ice at either pole of our world. If a passage were discovered, it would unite the polar world with ours. The article reflects our views only 120 years ago. This view lasted well into the 1950s, which is a mere 70 years ago. In 1930 and again in 1947, U.S. Navy Admiral Byrd agreed with other expeditions that there was a tropical climate beyond the pole. What was the U.S. Navy doing there? They were presumably looking for the Nazis who had been occupying a large chunk of Antarctica. Note, even in 1943, Mary Byrd Land was unclaimed. The article says that Ross saw volcanoes on the other side of the ice wall. This is not the understanding taught today. Altered history teaches that Ross saw volcanoes on islands in the Southern Ocean. See Wikipedia page, Ross Ice Shelf. Why would they alter such a seemingly insignificant detail? The article also refers to many marvelous accounts of warm lands beyond the wall, and that all Antarctic explorers speak of it. Who are these explorers? These accounts have disappeared from public view. There's still a lot we need to uncover. See you in the next video.